Now, there's something to be said when a legacy Japanese company really digs in and puts their resources towards developing product specific to a category. Today, the brand is Kenwood, and the category is power sports audio. We've got their product expert Kelvin joining us today to break us down exactly the products that are available and how you can build a system to optimize the sound experience in your UTV. This is CMA Connected, brought to you by SiriusXM, all about Kenwood Power Sports Audio. And it starts now. Welcome to another CMA Connected, brought to you by SiriusXM, right here on CMA Networks. I'm your host, Ben Wu. We're talking Power Sports Audio with Kenwood that has really, honestly, come to the table with a great selection of performance and reliable products suited for the environment. I want to welcome our guest, Kelvin, to the show. Now, Kelvin, what are we going to be talking about on today's session?
How's it going, Ben? Today we're going to be talking about everything you need to build a full-line sound system inside of your UTV.
Kelvin, can't wait to get into it with you. It's so fun to talk about this category that brings so many smiles to different riders and families when they get on the trail. But first, of course, we're going to have to give an opportunity to our partner, SiriusXM, to remind you why it's an amazing add-on sale each and every time. And when we come back, we're talking Power Sports Audio with Kenwood. Don't you dare go away.
Hey, Paul here with SiriusXM, and I'd like to talk to you about attachment selling and why the SiriusXM product is one of the best things to add, especially since we don't trade dollars with any other category. I could go through all of this, but let's hear what some of our dealers have to say.
It's an easy add-on that takes, 10, 15 minutes if we're running an antenna, 1 minute if we've got an adapter to plug it into the factory SiriusXM antenna, and it's extra money, so no brainer.
I present it to every customer because a lot of customers don't know what all they can do with Sirius. They don't know what all content they could have. It just makes too much sense not to sell it.
It creates a different customer loyalty and customer security when you explain to them why it's a better experience. Just gets them back in the door. And then the next car, they're already asking for it again. So it just keeps selling itself. It makes more sense.
Well, there you have it. You heard from our dealers. Just remember some of the best practices. Make sure you have one on display so you can demo it. Make sure you're taking advantage of our rewards program, because if you're not taking advantage of that, you're leaving even more money on the table. Make sure you got our POP up on display. And other than that, just make sure you're recommending it.
And welcome back to CMA Connected here on CMA Networks. We're here with Kelvin joining us from Kenwood. Welcome to the show, Kelvin. Now, I guess the first thing we want to make sure our listeners understand is that when it comes to creating product specific to the power sports market, it's really not just, rebranded or remarketed car audio gear. I mean, this stuff needs to withstand the elements, doesn't it?
No, that's exactly right, Ben. Thank you for the warm welcome, by the way. However, all of these products have been specifically designed to withstand the elements. So they all carry a very viable weathering or weatherproof rating, as well as being able to perform. Because, I mean, the whole point of a UTV is to have fun out there on the trails, right? So we want the music to sound just as fun as the fun you're having out there.
Absolutely. Fun is the name of the game. And the other things that I'm sure we're going to talk about as we go through a couple of the products today are other elements that are important. Remember, this is an open air environment. It's not like car audio that, you have closed doors, closed windows. So there's certain elements of that design. And of course, you mentioned fun. Lighting is kind of a big deal, right? You want the cool lighting as well. So let's get into it. I know we're going to be talking about a couple of different categories. I think you're going to start with amplifiers. So let's talk first about the amplifier a selection from Kenwood when it comes to power sports.
Yeah, absolutely, Ben. So, as I mentioned previously, all of these amplifiers are rated for the elements or whatever weather you throw at them. But starting off with the KAC M5024BT. Now, that is a 4-channel amplifier that is considered a full line solution because it does include a Bluetooth interface in the event you don't have anywhere to put source unit inside of your UTV. But moving on to the KAC M5014, now that amplifier is a standalone 4-channel amplifier that is rated for the elements. Now, it is a very small form factor for all of these units, so they do fit just about anywhere that you want to put them. However, there is one more that I want to talk about, and that's the KAC M501. Now, that's your mono block. So you are able to add a subwoofer into your UTV.
You know, Kelvin, I want to spend a little bit of time on this particular amplifier because I feel like it's a little bit of a wonder piece. I mean, there's a couple things going for it. First of all, it's incredibly small, so a tiny form factor. You can slide it under the seat into small little places, regardless of which UTV you're working on. And when Kelvin mentions weatherized, the wiring coming out of it, it's completely water. Well, I'm going to say waterproof because I'll tell you what, I'm going to get a little footage right here. We're going to play it at a recent CMA Expo. They actually had this display of this amplifier functioning completely submerged. So if you're worried about water or mud or any kind of intrusion, do not worry. This amp will tough it out. And the last thing I want you to show, I see you have one here. Why don't you show us exactly what this thing looks like?
Now, you really couldn't have put it better when you said Wonder Ben, because this is an incredibly small footprint for an amplifier. Just goes to show you can pretty much fit it just about anywhere that it needs to go. But one of the things I do want to show you, and what makes it so special, is the way that the wires are coming out of the amplifier. Now, this is what allows it to be completely weatherized because that interface is sealed. However, it gives you plenty of length to be able to interface with this awesome amplifier.
All right, so now that we've figured out the amplifier situation, regardless if you're going with a 4 channel, maybe you want to upgrade with that mono block that Kelvin mentioned. Of course, you want to be able to power some speakers. Now, like I mentioned, the UTV environment is a harsh one, but not only for weather, but also for sound, right? We're dealing with an open air environment, and at the same time, we want it to look cool. So what solution do you have if I want to upgrade my speakers in my UTV?
Now, when it comes to speakers, we have the perfect solution with the KFC 1673s, MRWL, and BL. Now, earlier when we mentioned that these speakers have to be fun, fun is at the root of the design for these speakers because not only do they sound great at 75 watts RMS, they also have RGB lighting, so you can further customize them to your ride. Now, WL will be the white grill form factor, and the BL will be the black grill form factor, so they further match your ride and you can personalize your UTV.
Now, I know what you're thinking. We're talking about amplifiers, we're talking about speakers, but we are talking about Kenwood. So, of course, we have to talk about source unit options. And when it comes to source unit options, I think you're going to find the design and features of the KMR XM500 that we're going to talk about now pretty much checks all the boxes. But I'll let Kelvin break it down for us.
Now, as you mentioned, Ben, we would be remiss if we did not talk about source units. And the one I wanted to bring up is the KMR XM500. Now, this is a 3-inch gauge style solution that will fit in just about every single dash application for your UTVs. However, it is one of the few source units out there on the market that is XM compatible as well. So you never have to miss out on your favorite channels while you're out there on the trail. A couple other features that I did want to mention was the fact that this unit has a rear camera input. So if you wanted to add a backup camera into your UTV application, you absolutely can. Now, this unit is also rated for 5-volt pre-out, so you can run a pretty awesome system off of this source unit.
Well, it's kind of like I said, a fully featured source unit option to run your entire system with extra features such as Sirius XM, as well as a rear camera input. This is kind of the one you really want to strive towards if you really want to upgrade that experience in your UTV. Now, I want to circle back to something, Kelvin. Earlier on, we covered that amplifier, and I noticed that it had a BT in the back. It stood for Bluetooth. How does one go about controlling that amplifier and connecting your phone, for example, to get some music playback?
Really, this is what I consider to be the perfect solution for a UTV in the event that you don't have the space to add a source unit, because this amplifier comes with a Bluetooth controller that you can interface with directly off of your cell phone. So it allows you to further flesh out that system that you're looking for without having to sacrifice dash space.
Hey, Kelvin, really want to thank you for coming in today to talk to us about some power sports audio gear from Kenwood. I think what you've shown here has been put forth with a lot of thought and engineering and design. What message do you have for UTV or power sports enthusiasts that may be looking at Kenwood to upgrade their sound system?
Thank you for that, Ben. We really pride ourselves in trying to be a full line manufacturer. So when it really comes to speakers, amplifiers, subwoofers, we want to say that like there's no further place to look than Kenwood. And of course, you have the reliability that's standard for years with these Kenwood products as well that's going to follow within the Power Sports line. So you can be confident in whatever system that you build, Kenwood's got your back.
And that was Kenwood's Kelvin De Leon Rivera joining us for another session here, talk about power sports audio. For more information, make sure you hit up their website to see the entire catalog. We'll put it on the screen right now. My takeaway from this is simple. You know the Kenwood brand. You know that if they're going to put their brand on any product, it comes with a certain level of integrity, of performance, reliability, and of course, of value. So that you can absolutely bank on. And I think that the features incorporated into some of these products, especially like that waterproof amplifier, the small footprint, the Bluetooth connectivity, as well as the source unit, XM compatibility, as well as rear view camera, and along with a 5-volt output, that is rare in this category. So if you're serious about sound, that makes sure and makes, the overall experience going to be phenomenal because you're going to have that strong signal from the get-go. So overall, if you're into power sports audio, definitely take a closer look at what Kenwood has to offer. That's it for this CMA Connected, brought to you by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Until next time, we connect.